Didi, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for doing this with me.
I am grateful, I am privileged, I am honored.
No, I'm really hoping that the few questions that I have, to ask you help the wider audience, people young and old. So the way I want to do this is I'm going to ask you 4 to 5 different questions, and your words of wisdom will be very, very helpful. To give you a little context about myself, I'm born and raised here. So I have a lot of Dubai kids who follow me. I'm 32 years of age, Indian, Sindhi, single, girl, entrepreneur, and I have a lot of young girls and boys following me. Dubai can tend to be this world, I think, can be very materialistic, or always teach us how to chase for the next big car, next big house, next big thing. When is it enough? And is it ever enough? How would you like one to think about these things?
When you're using the word enough, I'm reminded of a quotation. It says, there is enough for every man's need, but there isn't enough for every man's greed.
Indeed.
Our difficulty is that our desires, they keep on multiplying. We are never satisfied. Never satisfied. Not only in Dubai, this has spread to every corner. We have something, we want something more. We get that, we are not happy. We want still something better. And this is the root cause of our unhappiness. And mainly, especially today's advertisements, they ignite that spark in us. And we are influenced by social media. Today, there is no private life. Everything is open to everyone. We see our friends have gone to this holiday destination. This is the way they celebrate their birthdays. We just want to not only copy them, but we want to do something better than them. Therefore, life, instead of becoming a journey, it's a beautiful journey, filled with fun, filled with laughter, filled with love. But we have made life a race. We are constantly trying first to catch up with someone and then to overtake that person.
Right.
There's a story of a boy. He was very happy. He had a bicycle. Today, to find a person contented with a bicycle is
rare.
Rare, yes. So he was very happy with his bicycle. He would go to school humming a tune, enjoying everything that is around him, until his best friend. Let's even not go to a best friend. He was on the road. Nothing affected him. One day as he was cycling, another cyclist whom he did not even know just overtook him. And the thought came to him, he overtook me? First, now I want to catch up with him. And he spent all his energy pedaling harder and harder and harder, and he caught up with him. He was not happy. He overtook him. And then he said, oh, now I've achieved what I wanted. And then he realized when he looked where he had reached that he had missed the turning of the place where he had to go. This is what we do. We miss our goal. Why? Because of our greed.
You know, Didi, leaning in from what you said, I'm someone who's getting to a place where I'm like, okay, what I have is enough. But because of these influences, I feel like, am I losing my ambition? Like, am I doing something, like, if I don't want a bigger house, does that make me less driven, less ambitious? So what would you say to someone like that?
Firstly, we must realize that the status of a person does not depend depend on outer things.
Right.
These outer things are fleeting. They are there today, they are not there tomorrow. Or today you may be the greatest influencer. Overnight, there will be someone who will be greater than you.
Correct.
So never try to be the best, but try to do the best of which you're capable in whatever you do.
Right.
That is more than important. Today we pay attention to the result. Yes, result is very important. Goal in life is very important. But more important is how do we achieve that goal in the process? Do we lose our peace of mind? Do we lose our joy? Do we lose our friends? Do we lose our relationships? Life is not a race. Beloved Dada would often tell us that we have got into the rat race, and even if we stand first, you continue to be a rat. Life is a beautiful journey, therefore always be contented with what you have. Draw a line for yourself. Fix your ambition, fix your goal. It should be your ambition, your goal, not based on what X is reached or what Y is doing.
Correct.
Fix your target, fix your goal, and then draw that line. That is your Lakshman Rekha. Don't cross it. What happened when Sita crossed the Lakshman Rekha? All misery started.
True.
So we create our own misery. And let us draw the line. If someone else draws the line for us, we will not
We will not
be
achieve.
ready for that. We should decide.
True. Great. Thank you. Didi, my next question is about expectations. I feel like we all have a lot. And I'd say expectations from things, but more so from people near to us, dear to us. What are your thoughts on expectations and not having any?
Firstly, when we expect, we are already sowing the seed of unhappiness, of discontent. Because we expect, when we expect, we are clinging to that person, right? Because we feel, oh, I'm so close to him. I have done so much for him. And then that expectation starts. Or to things. We get attached to things. So expectations only make us unhappy if only we realize that expectations should be substituted with acceptance. And acceptance is not passive. In fact, acceptance is active. You should willingly accept, knowing that everything around you is fleeting. Okay, you get it. Even if we get a good experience, we cling to it. But that good experience will also pass. If there is a bitter experience, remember that will also pass away. Nothing is permanent in life. Therefore, stay away from expectations. Expect nothing, claim nothing.
But Didi, isn't it hard not to expect anything from, let's say, family members, people you, as you said, do for, like...
You can, instead of expecting, you all can have a dialogue with each other. It has to be a mutual dialogue. But in spite of it, if we expect, suppose we had a mutual dialogue, and if that person is unable to deliver,
Then...
we should accept that. Everyone is unique. Everyone has their own capacity, their own strengths, their own weaknesses. What I am capable of, maybe that other person is not capable. What you can do, maybe I can't do. If only we understand that.
Can I complicate this question a
Yes,
little?
yes.
So let's say at work, right? I have a team. And imagine I'm spending so much time training a team member and so on, that after a certain point, I do expect them to perform in a certain way. And then they don't.
Okay, they don't do, and you expected it.
Yes.
Then what is the next step? You create more negative energy for yourself. And as a result, that negative energy will affect your output. So if you want your work to be done in a better way, that is your goal, right? You must not only increase your energy, but you have to find a way to increase the energy of the team. Otherwise, they are already depleted, they are already drained, and now you also are drained.
Right. Fair. Can't argue that. Didi, we all have certain things in our life that we know are wrong. This could be certain people. This could be our attachment to certain things like food or other vices. So we know something is wrong for us, yet we can't.
Firstly, that is a big step, that you know that this is wrong. If you'll ask me what is spirituality in one word, my answer will be awareness. As long as we are aware that we are on the wrong track, that is a very big achievement. Then we don't have to stop there. Then we have to take the next step. We have to let go of that.
How? How to let go?
And when we let go, we realize that it is for our benefit. Therefore, explain to yourself, if you want a better you, letting go is always better. Let us let go of so many things that disturb us. Firstly, even to let go, for example, you said a food item. What you need is willpower, right? And how do we develop our willpower? Firstly, learn to say no. Today we have not learned to say no. Actually, this is the culture of today's children. If you tell them no, they will not accept it. They cannot accept a no from you. Learn to say no.
Even to the kids.
To yourself also. This is how we have been brought up now. We cannot hear the word no. Learn to say no. Secondly, learn to balance your life. Avoid extremes. That is very, very important. You should know when to indulge, when to restrain. And thirdly, prayer.
Prayer.
Keep on praying to God. God, I want to let go of this habit. With your strength, with your help, with your guidance, I will definitely do it. And then actually visualize yourself that you have given up that habit, and how much more beautiful, better, meaningful your life has become. That will be a motivator for you to give it up.
True.
Let us learn to let go of the hurts. Someone says one word to us, oh God.
That's it.
That hurt becomes a wound. And then, even though it becomes a wound, we don't close it. We keep on opening it again and again. We keep on telling her, oh, she did that to me. And finally, it becomes a grudge. Therefore, forgiveness is a gift you don't give to the person who has wronged you. You give that gift to yourself. There are so many people who say, I will never forgive. Don't forgive, you're harming yourself. Maybe that other person didn't even realize that he had done something wrong. He is in his own world. You're just harming yourself.
Forgiveness.
Let go of your fears, let go of your worries. If only we realize that what does worrying do? Does it help us to solve the problem? Then, and fears. Many of the things we are afraid of actually never happen.
True, it's overthinking.
Overthink. Today's generation, overthinking. Think less, think slow, and most importantly, think right. Anything happens, our minds, they have 1001 thoughts.
Didi, how to think right? I know so many people who are stuck in a negative.
When we actually think less, we will think right. When the quantity is less, the quality is better.
But it's the brain, you can't shut it. How to think less?
We have to learn. We have to learn to say to our mind, full stop. How do we learn to walk? We have to put in that effort. When we were children, we fell down 100 times, but did we give up? Otherwise, we would still be crawling.
Right. I think the world that we live in, we all want everything fast.
Yes.
So
Fast-paced world. We live lives of pretense. We don't live authentic lives. We think one thing,
we do another.
we say something else, and we do something else. 3 versions.
We're so sad. How to change
So
that?
sad. Now, for example, you'll go for a party. You'll see your friend. You can just be quiet. No, just to make her happy, you'll say you've worn a beautiful dress. And inside you will be saying, I will never even ever care to buy that dress. There's no need for you to say. We think one thing, we say something else, and then we do completely something that is contrary to both.
I think it comes from a place of people pleasing, which exists in this world. I don't know what to-
Sorry?
Like people pleasing.
People pleasing, yes. We live to please people. We are influenced by people's opinion. We are influenced by media. And most importantly, see today children, peer pressure. They know that what they are doing is not right. They have been brought up in that environment where they know what is right, what is wrong. But because of the influence of peer pressure, they succumb to it.
Didi, but like imagine someone watching this who knows that they're influenced by peer pressure. How do they stop that? Because things happen in schools, things happen in universities.
Therefore, we have to see that our children, just as we are careful about the health of their body, we are so careful about the food they eat, right? We try our best that we give them healthy food. We try to balance their diet. Okay, one day of the week we will allow you all to eat fast food. The remaining days, no. Similarly, we have to be very careful of the diet they give to their minds. That is very, I'm sorry, that is very, very, very important. What they see, what they hear, what they read. Today, so they don't read.
Just watch.
And most importantly, the company in which they move. That has a major influence on them. And parents have to be role models. Parents tell one thing to the child, but they behave exactly the opposite. Parents, children don't listen to our words. Children are best imitators. They will imitate their parents.
Didi, I'm glad you leaned into this discussion of parents and children and that dynamic, because what I wanted to ask you next is, obviously parents and children are of different generations, and I'd say that the generation that's coming up right now is overexposed to information. Some right, some wrong, but there can be difference in opinion, which can create clashes at home. In a world, in an Indian world, let's say, or a Desi world, where it's always that if someone's elder, they are right, which I don't think is always true. Let's say if I'm having friction as a child, I'm having friction where what I'm saying is not wrong, and I don't want to disrespect my parents. So what would you say, in a situation like
It's
this?
not only with parents. We think today there is a generation gap, but I think there is more of a cultural gap today. We have forgotten our culture. Every relationship has become fragile because today our relationships are based on getting. Any relationship that is based on getting will not last. Enter into any relationship with only the idea of giving. This is the first rule of every relationship. Today, couples come to me and they say, we just want to separate. What is the reason? We are not getting anything out of the relationship. Remember, if you want to get anything, firstly, you have to give that thing. If you want love, first you are the one who has to go and give that love. If you want respect, if we want our children to respect us, first we should respect them. At least give them a ear. Listen to them. Meal times, food timing should be a time where parents and children have a dialogue with each other. Let them come up with what did they do during the day. Listen to them. Today, what is our condition? Even if we are sitting on the same table, the mother is on the phone, the father is on the phone, every sibling is on the phone. We are so disconnected. There is family only in word. So firstly, we need to be connected to each other. That is the basis. And whenever a child comes and confides in you, if we immediately punish them, next time what will they do? They will not even tell you. They will go and do the same thing. Therefore, have a flexible mindset. Listen to them. And then, in a simple way, in a positive way, try to explain to them. Today, we are not even ready to listen. Parents have no time to listen. There are so many children who come to us and they have that complaint. They say, we don't want iPads. We don't want all fancy things. We want the love, the affection, the time of our children. Remember, relationships, they are nurtured with time, with love, with trust, with understanding. Today we don't have understanding. What is the word understand? Understand. Nobody wants to stand under. Parents want to dominate their children. Both spouses, nobody is prepared to bend. Our Dada used to tell us harmony. If you want harmony in your homes, harmony, har, maan lo. One should say, okay. Otherwise, there's going to be unending conflict.
Didi, if I'm always the one saying okay, then I'll always be the one saying
It's
okay.
not that way. You have to say okay at that time, because when a person is angry, do you think what you say is going to affect him? It will make the situation worse because he has already blocked himself. Yes, at that time be quiet, be patient. And when that person cools down, then you can start a positive discussion. Argument will never take you anywhere. It will make the situation worse. At that time, one is required to be calm, to be composed, to be patient. Today, our resilience is going on reducing. The spirit of adjustment. Earlier, we had smaller homes, 1-bedroom hall, but we were happier. We knew how to live together. We knew how to adjust with each other. Today, spouses, there are so many spouses who live in separate bedrooms. We had smaller homes and bigger hearts. Today, whenever a guest comes, firstly, a guest cannot come until he has given you proper notice. In olden days, we used to feel so happy. Guests, our family, our friends used to just ring the bell and walk in. We've come to have food with you. And we used to all go in the kitchen together, make some new dishes and eat together, simple food. Today, if a guest comes, oh, we are so confused. We'll say, come, we'll go out and eat in a restaurant. Or we'll book a hotel for you.
Yeah.
We have no room for you at home. The culture has changed. So more than the generation gap, we have a cultural gap. Therefore, the role of the mother. Every child is born with sanskars of the previous life, yes. But the second sanskar is the garbha sanskar. When the child is in the womb of the mother, every thought, action, word of the mother influences the child. And then when they are born, there is the influence of the family, the environment, the company.
True.
All these, they go to make the child. It's not just one thing.
Yeah. For sure. Didi, you mentioned that nothing good comes out of an argument, right? Now, I'm always conflicted with this thought. I truly believe that kindness has power, right? But sometimes in like business situations and stuff, you tend to feel that if I choose the kinder route, then am I considered weak?
If I choose,
the kinder route, or if I choose to be kind, or if I choose to let go, or if I choose to...
You don't have to let go. If you have to stand by your principles, you have to stand by your values. But you have a choice how to do it. And if by arguing it would help you, why not? It only makes the situation worse. You don't have to be weak. You have to just be like what we have, the Google map or the GPS. Okay? We put our destination. I don't know the roads of Dubai, whatever is the destination you put, and you're traveling. But you choose to take a wrong turn. Does that lady argue with you? No. What she will do, she will rework herself, but she will not change the destination. You don't have to move away from your goal. She'll not tell you now, you have changed your route, go and find it on your own. This is not the way to behave. No.
Fair. I appreciate your time and your wisdom so much.
In fact, I have learned from you so much. And it's such a joy and an inspiration to spend time with you. I'm so happy.
Thank you. Didi, as parting words, is there anything you'd like to say to anyone young or old listening? Anything you would want them to remember?
I think our message to the youth is in 2 words: believe and achieve.
Wow.
Believe and achieve. Believe firstly in God, the superpower. Today, we have forgotten God. We are connected to everyone, but to this powerhouse that is within us. Believe in God, believe in yourself. Today we keep on doubting ourselves. Self-doubt, self-limitation. And we keep on saying, I will not be able to do this. Never use that language. You are capable of doing much more than you think you can. You are greater than you think. Believe in God, believe in yourself, and believe in the universe that is just and fair.
Yes.
We keep on saying, why did this happen to me? Nothing can happen to you. It is your doing that comes back to you. The seed you have sown, whether you like it or not, you have to eat that fruit. Trust in the universe. 2-word message, believe and you will surely achieve. Today, youths want only to achieve. But remember, there is a difference between achieving and being successful. They are two different things.
How may I ask?
Success is safalta. You should feel fulfilled. You should feel contented. You should feel your life is meaningful, purposeful. Today, the more we achieve, the more discontented we are, the more unhappy we are.
Yes, indeed. So much to think about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Take care
I really
of
appreciate it.
yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.